how best to manage a situation involving a disruptive employee who's covered under the DDA. So he's disabled and he's disruptive. So just because somebody has a disability, it doesn't mean that they can get away with murder. What it does mean is that you have to handle the situation sensitively and that you, again, have to follow a fair process. We're all about processes in this business. So my advice to you would be I don't know exactly what the situation is, obviously, but to have a meeting with that person, to have an investigation meeting with them, and to point out their shortfalls. You can do that, whether they have a disability or not. You can tell them that what you're not happy with, you can set the expectations for them. But what you must do is to ask what you can do to help them. So we've all heard about reasonable adjustments. So do they need any reasonable adjustments? Are they struggling in their job? Are they being disruptive because they feel overwhelmed or undervalued and they need some support? So that's the first thing to do. You would always have that chat with them, investigate, find out what's the matter, what can you do to help them. You can try and implement some reasonable adjustments. It doesn't mean that they can have whatever they want. It basically means that a reasonable adjustment is reasonable to both them and to you as the employer. Okay, so you try and make the situation work and you still set those expectations and you still keep catching up and checking in with that employee to see how they're getting on. If they don't improve, if their behaviour is still disruptive, even after you have put reasonable adjustments in place and you've listened to what they need, that doesn't stop you from going forward to a disciplinary or a capability meeting, as I explained a little bit earlier. So you would still need to follow that process, set the expectations, put reasonable adjustments in place. And what we're aiming for at the end of the day is if you had to dismiss that employee, they wouldn't be able to go away to a tribunal and say, they dismissed me because I'm disabled. It would need to be really, really clear and evidence that you had dismissed them because they were being disruptive, rude, late, taking long breaks, whatever that might look like. So again, most of these questions that we're going to try and answer for you this morning are going to be a little bit vague. So if you did want to come back to us and tell us the specific